What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the Random Channel. I'm Kevin Duffy, and it's been a while since I've done like a solo video like this. Been doing a lot of the podcasts and then breaking those videos up into smaller videos, but some news dropped about the Batman 2, and I really wanted to dive into it, so I figured let's make a solo video discussing it. So here it is. The Batman 2 is beginning filming next year, and with I think October 2026 release date is what it's slated for right now. And there hasn't been much details about this movie, but Matt Reeves sat down for an interview the other day, and he gave what are essentially the first plot details about this movie, and it's leading to a lot of speculation as to who the potential villains or villain would be in this sequel. So I want to read the plot lines here, or the plot details that he has given in that interview, and then give you my 2 cents on who I think potentially this movie could be about. So Matt Reeves provided us details on the Batman Part 2. It's another mystery that's going to dig into the epic story about deeper corruption, and it goes into places that he couldn't even anticipate in the first one, he being Batman. The seeds where this goes are all in the first movie. So there's some details there. So obviously, what the hell does that mean? It seems kind of vague, right? Not really. Not really when you think about that first movie. So what's the first Batman movie, The Batman, about? It is about Batman uncovering, or the Riddler exposing, the plot in the city that Falcone owned all of the systems of government, basically. He owned the cops, he owned the mayor's office, and he owned the district attorney's office. So basically, nobody was ever going to move against him crime-wise because he had his fingers in all those different little pockets of Gotham. So that gets exposed, and thus the movie of The Batman. The Riddler trying to expose Falcone for what he is, and then obviously Batman trying to figure out why the Riddler's going after these people. So Matt Reeves saying that that Batman's on another case, diving into another mystery. That's great sign for this franchise. I think that the mystery in that first one, the detective story that they were telling, was really cool for Batman. You never really get to see too many Batman movies with an actual detective story. So having another mystery on his hands, that's perfect. I think that's all three of these Batman movies, if he makes the trilogy, should be in this vein. I want Detective Batman in all three of them. So what could it potentially be referring to? What is a deeper set of crime or going on in Gotham that could be deeper than Falcone owning all these different areas of government? Well, the Court of Owls comes to mind, and I'm sure there's a million videos out there right now, people speculating the exact same thing. It's not a big leap. The Court of Owls are a very popular Batman rogues villain or group of villains, because even though they're modernized, they are instantly classic because they tie into the Wayne family, they tie into the elites of Gotham, and it's once you've already exposed, the actual system of government, exposing the elites who pay into that system, potentially being the next deeper level, it really seems like the logical place to go. And if that's what this story is, it makes 100% sense to me. So the Court of Owls is really cool because, like I said, they are the elites of Gotham, the rich families of Gotham. They are corrupt, and they for sure own the mob, or at least aspects of it. They commit crimes to benefit themselves, and they do that through the work of agents that they have called the Talons. And they're basically a group of assassins that, kind of like the League of Shadows, take care of basically anything that could expose them. And I think, given where things have left off in the Batman, obviously the Penguin series is coming out, that's going to be kind of like the bridge between the two movies, with the mob being where it is, with Falcone being murdered and potentially his secrets coming out. Court of Owls making an appearance with their Talons taking out people who maybe knew a little bit more about Falcone, and potentially maybe even Falcone himself being a puppet, not a member of the League of Shadows, the Court of Owls, but a puppet that they would use to get their job done. Kind of makes a lot of sense. And I'm leaning, I was maybe 70% sure they would go Court of Owls before this. Like, that's where I figured they would take the story. But after Matt Reeves revealed the story saying, or his details about the story saying that plot, like little seeds have been planted in the first movie, and that it's a deeper set of corruption than even in the first one, I don't see how it could be anything else other than the Court of Owls. And it's a villain that's never, or a group of villains that have never been done before in live action. Like I said, they're insanely popular. It's it's a pretty modern comic book, so it's pretty cool to take a villain like that, or villains like that we haven't seen. In fact, so much so that, like, can't you just visualize a scene at the beginning of this movie, right? Where you have, I don't know, let's just say a group of small-time criminals who are afraid that Batman's going to come for them because they were tied into the Falcone crime family in some way, and they're trying to destroy evidence that links them to the Falcone crime family or something along those lines. And they're breaking into some building and they're getting rid of files, and the whole time they're thinking, man, we got to make sure Batman doesn't find us, so keep your eye out for Batman. Just to have one of the Talons sneak into the building, and then from the perspective of these crooks, you think Batman's on their tail, just to be confronted by a Talon who frickin' murders them, right? Murders them and leaves them as a message to the other criminals out there that potentially would give away the League of Shadows, or I keep saying the League of Shadows, the Court of Owls, and then Batman gets on that case because of this murder. In fact, the cops could even be looking at Batman because perhaps the way that the building is broken into by this assassin would lead people to believe that only somebody like Batman could have gotten in here and gotten the drop on these guys, you know? I think it's pretty interesting. A becomes a suspect to the cops again, and B, he's going to take out somebody who's at least hand-to-hand combat-wise as talented as he is, and then the corruption of the story being these elites of Gotham, who he himself, as Bruce Wayne, is a member of the elites of Gotham. In fact, his family, Thomas, I would be shocked that if they do go this route, if Thomas Wayne wasn't taken out by Falcone or whoever took out in this iteration of the Batman. I don't know if the first movie said specifically who killed the Waynes, but what if Thomas Wayne was killed because he refused to join the Court of Owls, or he was going to expose the Court of Owls, you know? So Falcone, they use him to take out Thomas Wayne, you know? Keep their hands dry. It seems like it would be kind of impossible to not go that route, you know? So I just think from a perspective of Batman finding out about this secret set of, you know, Illuminati level elites and their practices with the Court of Owls, having his family having ties to them, and having Thomas Wayne being murdered for either, you know, rebuking an invitation to become a member or threatening to expose them because he doesn't want any of this corruption in Gotham at all, you know? I just think that's a natural place for this story to go, and I think it's pretty damn obvious that's where it's going to go. The other way people are leaning is Hush, because obviously in The Batman there is the news clipping that shows that Thomas Wayne tried to pay off that reporter who, I mean, I think it's Thomas Elliott is Hush. Just having a brain blank right here. I'm getting over a bit of COVID here, so my brain is not functioning at high levels right now. But anyways, the reporter who was killed could easily be written in as being Hush's father. So, and they even went as far as saying Hush ? With like a hush money payments and all that stuff. So that the seeds are planted there for that to be a villain too. But if it's a deeper corruption of Gotham, then I can't imagine that the Hush story would fit technically in there as well. I'm putting my eggs firmly in the Court of Owls basket. So anyways, guys, you've heard this news story about, you know, the plot details regarding the Batman 2. It seems likely that it's going to be Court of Owls, but I want to hear from you guys. Do you think it's going to be Court of Owls, or do you think they're going to go a different route? Could it be Hush? Could it be maybe even the League of Shadows or League of Assassins? I know League of Shadows was the Nolan universe, right? But it was League of Assassins in the comics. Whoever you think the next villain could be, or whatever you think the plot details of this, you know, Matt Reeves interview are alluding to, let me know in the comments. I can't wait for this movie, and I can't wait to hear from your thoughts on this. So do me a huge favor, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll come at you with more videos later this week. See ya. Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you like what you saw here, make sure you're subscribed. We're trying to grow this channel, and every single subscription helps. You know what else helps? Clicking that like button. click that notification bell. That way every single time that we drop a new bit of content, you get notified about it. If you like these conversations and you want to see the full unedited versions of them, make sure you go over and check out the Random Things podcast. We go live every Thursday night and it gets crazy. We'll probably get canceled before we get too big.